I will take their glory, their fortune, and their fame of anyone who lives in my house. My tenant's fortune shall become mine, and mine alone. Before you move into a rented house, do your findings, ask questions, look well. Some walls hide more than bricks. They hide darkness. Chica had just finished her NYSC camp. She was happy, full of life, ready to start her 1-year service as a teacher in a faraway town she had never seen before. But there was no lodge for corpers. She had to find a room by herself. After asking around, someone whispered, "Go to Madame Gloria. She never asks corpers for rent. She owns a whole compound with many empty rooms." Chica was so desperate, she went. The moment she entered the compound, she felt something unusual. The air was not normal, too still, too quiet. It was like the compound was holding its breath. The building was an old face me, I face you. Narrow rooms stood side by side with a long dark corridor. The paint had died long ago. Cracks ran across the floor like veins. But the strangest thing was the tree in the center of the compound. A tall, dry Iroko tree with crooked branches. They looked like arms open, waiting to hug or to trap. Chica shivered. "What kind of tree is this?" she muttered. She turned. A woman was watching her. Fat, fine clothes, red lipstick, gold bangles on her wrist. She smiled. "Ah, my daughter. You are welcome," the woman said sweetly. "I am Madame Gloria. What brings you here?" Chica explained quickly. She needed a room. Madame Gloria laughed warmly. "Don't worry, my corper. You will not pay a kobo. Move in today. Take this key. Room 17. Chica's face lit up. She thanked her again and again. It felt like a miracle. She didn't know she had just stepped into a story that would change her forever. That night, Chica packed her small bag into room 17. The room was narrow with a broken bed and one tiny window. "It's just for 1 year," she told herself. "I will manage." Before bed, she called her mother. She told her about Madame Gloria's kindness. "Ah, that is good," her mother said, her voice soft over the phone. "God will bless that woman for helping you." Chica smiled. She didn't know that night would open the first door to trouble. Her dream came heavy. A tall, dark man wearing a full masquerade chased her through a forest. Drums beat in the night. Boom, boom, boom. She ran. The masquerade ran faster. His eyes glowed red. His laughter was thunder. Chica woke up sweating, chest shaking. She forced to laugh. "Just tiredness," she whispered. "Camp stress, long journey." But in her heart, she knew something was not right. 2 days later, she saw Madame Gloria again, standing in the corridor. Beside her was a reverend sister holding her Bible. "Chica," Madame Gloria called. "This is Sis Faith. He will stay in room 18 next to you." Chica was happy. At last, she wouldn't be so alone. But that joy did not last. On her second night, around 1:30 a.m., Chica was sleeping when she woke to her voice. "Blood of Jesus, out, out, you evil spirit, out." Chica froze. Her heart beat like a drum. Something had just begun. The voice was coming from room 18. Chica crept closer to her door, her ear pressed against the wood. She heard it all. Furniture banging, glass breaking, the sister praying in tongues. Then came a scream, a heavy thud, and silence. By morning, the sister was gone. Sister Faith limped out. She held her Bible. Her face looked pale with terror. She didn't greet nor bid farewell. S.A. just walked out of the compound like someone who ran for her dear life. Chica stood frozen. Something wasn't right. And now she was alone again. Moments later, she saw Madame Gloria walking slowly to room 18. She wasn't rushing. She wasn't even looking around. She locked the door, clipped the keys to her wrapper, and walked away. That quiet act told Chica everything she needed to know. Something lived in that house. From that night, Chica stayed alert. She slept light, ears sharp, heart restless. One evening, while preparing her lesson notes, the power blinked. The bulb flickered once, twice, then tripped off. The building grew too quiet. No birds, no sound. Then she heard it humming, a strange low rhythm, a clinking of metal. Fear dragged her to the window. Slowly, she moved the curtain. What she saw froze her blood. Madame Gloria stood under the moonlight, barefoot, wearing only a black wrapper. In her hand, she held keys that shimmered like silver. She circled the twisted tree, dancing slowly, lips moving, chanting words not of this world. The tree shook, its branches stretching wide like arms. Madame Gloria lifted the keys and spoke clearly. Her name is Faith. She left behind her wealth, her blessing, her glory. And now it is mine until another comes. The tree trembled violently. A whisper filled the air, many voices, like hundreds speaking at once. Then, right before Chica's eyes, Madame Gloria changed. Her body shrank, skin turning dark and shiny. In seconds, she was no longer human. She was a black cat, fierce, glowing eyes fixed with evil light. Chica stumbled back from the window, gasping. Then she heard it. Meow, meow. Inside her room, she turned slowly. The black cat stood by her door, back arched, fangs sharp. Before she could move, it leapt. Claws tore her skin, teeth sank into her arm. Chica screamed, calling every god she could think of. God of heaven, God of Abraham, God of my mother's prayers, help me. But the cat didn't stop. It scratched and bit until her world went black. Hours later, her hand trembled enough to grab her phone. With the last of her strength, she called the only person who had never failed her. Mama, she whispered, I'm dying. Please help me. Immediately her phone tripped off. Miles away, her mother, Mama Chica, sat frozen. She held her phone. Her tears poured freely. Chica, my child, she cried. Her knees hit the floor. She lifted her hands. Oh Lord, wherever my daughter is, send help. Don't let me bury my only child. By dawn, she was already at the garage. No bag, no food, only her wrapper tied firm and a mother's desperate faith. She boarded the first bus to her daughter's place of primary assignment. When she arrived, she ran straight to the school, asking questions. A kind teacher guided her to Madame Gloria's compound. The place was thick with silence, the air heavy, like death was watching. Mama Chica began knocking on doors, calling her child's name. Room 10, no answer. Room 12, nothing. Room 16, empty. At room 17, the black cat appeared. It sprang at her. The teacher screamed and fled, but Mama Chica didn't move. Something rose inside her. The strength of a mother. She struck the cat mid-air. It twisted, hit the ground, and transformed back into Madame Gloria, writhing in pain, her wrapper stained with dust. Mama Nkechi shouted with all her soul, "Chica, my daughter, answer me." A weak bang came from inside room 17. A faint voice. She rushed, pushed the door, and there was Chica barely unconscious laying on the ground. Her breath was shallow. She was too weak to move. Mama Chica didn't waste time. She gathered her child's belongings in a bag, lifted her frail body, and carried her. When she turned, Madame Gloria was gone, vanished into the shadows. Mama Chica didn't stop to ask questions. She dragged her daughter out of the cursed compound and straight to the park. That night, they left that town forever. It took months before Chica regained herself. She couldn't finish her service year, but she survived because a mother's love refused to let her die. Later, people whispered of Madame Gloria's house, of the twisted tree, and of the black cat. Months later, Madame Gloria's body was found hanged on the tall iroko tree, her face like dried skeleton, her keys dangling from her bones. Some say the tree took her back. Some say her gods turned against her. But one thing remains true. Before you rent a house, do you truly know your landlady?